The Hague, a United Nations War Crimes Tribunal convicted Ratko Mladic, the former Bosnian Serb general, on Wednesday of war crimes, genocide and crimes against humanity in the slaughter of Bosnian Muslims during the breakup of Yugoslavia. From 1992 to 1995, the tribunal found, Mr. Mladic, 75, was the chief military organizer of the campaign to drive Muslims, Croats and other non-Serbs off their lands to cleave a new homogeneous statelet for Bosnian Serbs. Along with Radovan Karadzic, the Bosnian Serb president, who was convicted on similar charges last year, Mr. Mladic was found to have orchestrated a campaign of so-called ethnic cleansing that made the small nation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, with its 4.5 million people, the site of some of the worst atrocities of Europe's bloody 20th century. The deadliest year of the campaign was 1992, when 45,000 people died, often in their homes, on the streets or in a string of concentration camps. Others perished in the nearly 4-year siege of Sarajevo, the Bosnian capital, where snipers and shelling terrorized residents for more than 3 years, and in the mass executions of 8,000 Muslim men and boys after Mr. Mladic's forces overran the United Nations protected enclave of Srebrenica. Survivors called Mr. Mladic the Butcher of Bosnia. His defense lawyers argued that Mr. Mladic was largely following orders from politicians above him, and that any atrocities committed by his subordinates and militias were not done at his direction. Prosecutors have asked for a life sentence for Mr. Mladic. The presiding judge, Alphonse Ori, agreed. Mr. Mladic's crimes rank among the most heinous known to humankind, including genocide and extermination as a crime against humanity, the judge said. Surprising many observers, Mr. Mladic appeared in court on Wednesday, wearing a dark business suit and a red tie, as the 3-judge panel handed down its ruling. He sat impassively for the first 45 minutes of the judge's address. But his lawyers requested a 5-minute break to allow him to go to the bathroom, and Mr. Mladic did not reappear for almost an hour. Reporters were told he was having his blood pressure checked. When he returned, he began shouting at the court, and the judge ordered his removal. Mr. Mladic was able to see and hear the rest of the proceedings on a screen elsewhere in the courthouse. The verdict reverberated throughout the court building in The Hague, where dozens of survivors of the bloodshed, many of them widows or refugees, filled the public gallery, while others watched from monitors set up by the tribunal or followed it via video stream and across Europe. In Bosnia, survivors and victims wept and exulted as the verdict was broadcast live on television and the internet, while the reaction was muted in Serbia, where nationalism is rising once again. The verdict was hardly in doubt, given the volume of evidence produced during the trial, which began in 2012. The sessions were at times halted or cut short because of Mr. Mladic's health problems, and the trial itself was extended after the discovery of more mass graves. Citing his fragile health, Mr.